All right, so I'm going to answer a couple of questions in video form. I just don't have time to sit in front of the computer all day every day. I've got to get out and get some work done, and so I'm coming away between a couple of gigs here. And wanted to talk a little bit about NC's question about the camper trailer. Can you stock it with supplies and go places? Mine, they call it a 20-foot trailer, but the actual enclosed section I measured once, and it was shorter than that. Yeah, I think 20 feet was for the whole thing, including the tongue and like from the end of the tip of the trailer hitch to the end of the bumper type thing. And when I stored food in there, I was able to get just over a 6-month supply. And then when I start talking about a 6-month supply of everything, toilet paper, paper towels, dish soap, everything you could need, where I could hook up and go for 6 months, I was getting pretty close to the weight limits of what I felt I could safely drive with. Now, if you've got a good truck, good trailer brakes, everything's set up reasonably well, I think you can work with that. I think you could. The issue on that type of a circumstance is that I don't think that's a really good play for last minute emergency evacuation, i.e. bugging out. And the reason is because if you're really bugging out, I mean, if you really got to go, you're having a Benghazi situation, you don't want to be fucking around with something that's really going to be an encumbrance on your vehicle. On the other hand, if it's something where there's a lot of warning, or maybe the earthquake or whatever disaster kind of came and went, you don't want to stick around, you want to kind of relocate now. But you're not traveling under extreme duress, you're not traveling under emergency conditions, you've got the route recon, and you're just relocating resources, then yeah, then you can do that. But what you're going to find yourself doing is probably figuring out, okay, I've got a good tow vehicle, and I've got a good trailer, I've got all the supplies in the trailer, but you got to realize that once you're towing a larger trailer full of all the supplies, there's a lot of maneuvering that you can't do anymore. A lot of those real fancy reverse J turns and ramming roadblocks, all that kind of stuff, you're no longer in that game because you've got a trailer, you've got cargo. And so under those types of circumstances, you've got to have security vehicles, you got to have recon, and it becomes a pretty complex convoy operation. Other guys who would just say, yeah, I'm going to hook up, I got my pickup truck camper, I've got my trailer, I got a boat on top of the camper, we're all set up for, you know, if you want to go out and spend a week in the wilderness, that's great, you know, it's not bad. I mean, and if you got a good warning, okay, that's not really truly bugging out. I mean, that's kind of like temporary relocation. So I'm not trying to screw around with semantics on that, but it's where that goes. So on a bug out vehicle, bug out trailer, you're looking at probably not trying to cover huge distances. I would say you know, you're trying to get wherever you're going within 1 tank of fuel. Worst case scenario, you're crossing from one side of the country to the other, and then you have to also look at the fact that you're traveling. You may be traveling a lot of back roads, a lot of side routes, where your fuel consumption is more than usual. Anybody who's done a lot of off-road driving will explain that fuel consumption off-road driving with a trailer, you're getting 30% of the fuel economy that you'll get without a trailer on the highway. So all those things kind of get calculated into your travel plans. So you know, is it good to have a rig like that? Yeah, but I don't think I'd bug out with it. And so what I've gone to is removing most of the supplies from it. I'm reducing weight. I want to get it to where it's lightweight enough that You know, if there's an issue with trailer brakes not working or something's not at 100%, I'm still mobile. And then I want to pre-state supplies, because one thing I found that with a good solid 6 months worth of supply, it was pretty full, and that was supply for one person. It's not supply for a family. A lot of the conventional reasons people buy those RVs is they have a large family and it's not cost effective to do hotel rooms. So again, individual needs come into play. There's a lot of other issues that come into play on that sort of thing. But my idea of a true bug out trailer, if you go over to the YouTube channel, I think it's Bug Out Vehicles. I forget the guy's name. He's a blonde guy. A lot of his videos are a little weird, but he's got some other videos of actual custom bug out trailers that he built that are roughly based on those Australian outback pop-up campers. So the bug out trailer is going to have a decent water supply on it. Usually got some kind of solar power going on, maybe a generator, got a kitchen, got a lot of comfort and longevity type supplies that you're not necessarily going to have, you're not going to want encumbering your main vehicle. That aren't going to fit in your backpack. But if you were to ditch that trailer, it's not the absolute end of the world. It's like the extra stuff, the comfort stuff, the stuff that makes the situation pretty livable if you got it with you. The difference between heavy camping and tents you can stand up in and have a regular kitchen versus fucking around with a fire pit or your little Optimus stove and some little tent shelter you can't stand up in where you're going to freeze in the winter and bake in the summer. You know, all those things that make that living in the field harder end up being something that screws with your operational capability under circumstances of where you might want to conduct operations of some sort. So anything that makes that life harder, whether it's just going to work or engaging in combat resistance operations, those situations tend to be problematic. So when you got, you know, the comfortable RV, you can start to make a lot of decisions where you're not really stressed while you're trying to make those decisions, and you're going to get better night's sleep. You're going to be able to, if you've got your family in one of those, you know, you're not going to have the kids crawling the walls and crying too badly. I mean, it's not super hard living. So under those circumstances, is the RV, you know, a decent investment? Yeah, I just you got to understand the dangers of having a heavy tow vehicle, a heavy trailer on a bug out situation where there's jammed up roads. There might be roadblocks. There might be situations where you need to maintain that maneuverability on your vehicle, and all those things can go sideways on you, and it becomes a hell of a lot more difficult when your vehicle is encumbered by a large trailer. Anyway, I'm at my next work location, so we'll talk a little more later on another video.